that was Back When, True Escapes, track 7, Pineapple. And these are the Kenwood JL-507s. I got them for free. While me and Sleepy Time were cruising the shuttle, we scanned down, we saw them on the side of the road. And I woke Sleepy Time up and I told him, beam them up! And here they are. They're flimsy. They're like cheap and light and flimsy. And when I show you the grills, just remember how this is caved in. I'll talk about that. I might need to... I think it's actually not leaking air. Oh, and I almost forgot. Before we keep going with this review, in which I'll just kind of spew miscellaneous information about these speakers in a random order, I gotta first apologize for the hate speech that's just everywhere. See, big issue people got in here, and they're very low IQ, very juvenile. You can see they were like carving like cuss words into the wall because they're that pissy and just like, we'll talk about them later. Just oh my god, there's panties. I've been here all night and I didn't notice there's literal panties on the wall. Wow. I totally didn't know that because I might have brought like supplies to cover up all the hate speech on the walls just so I don't get it kicked off of YouTube. But I came here kind of hesitantly, kind of like at the last minute when the sun was setting, and I've been here all night. And they don't fatigue. So anyways, let me drop in a picture of these Yamahas. When I say Yamahas, I mean the little bookshelf. I forget what number they are. I'll flash the picture and what model number they are on the screen though right now. So yeah, these kind of have the same tweeter and mid-range from the Yamaha. They like look identical. It's a polycarbonate tweeter and a sealed back paper cone mid-range, and then a 12-inch paper cone woofer. It has a little port, and I don't think they have a crossover. And they're just where there's a capacitor there to block out the bass. And they're better than they should be. So the story is, I beamed them up, and I had them in my living room, and Roseanne was on, so I just hooked them up to the headphone port on the TV, because my TV has other DACs and stuff normally. The headphone port is just like an option. Hooked up the headphone port to that in my living room. I pretty much did that almost right away. They kind of look like Calypso Heresies or something more fancier when they're tilted like that. I want to have stools I could put them on, which I'm not sure if I'm going to try that or not, but that's always an option. But I like it like this. I think it works good. We'll talk about how that works. But the Yamahas, they're kind of like what I like about the Yamahas, they're like a neutral speaker, and they're detailed, but like they're not fatiguing. The highs are gentle. Like I said, I was playing them pretty loud. They're pretty efficient. The nice thing about this is, it runs off of batteries, and it's a beautiful relationship with these because you don't want to make these go louder than something like this can provide anyways. Because if you did, the cabinets would probably start to sound like crap. Like the very cheap cabinets, but I only heard them rattle once. I played a real low note on something, and that one kind of rattled a little. Maybe if they were in better condition, they wouldn't even done it then. And the port works really well. It's like they did their homework with these. Like you'd think these being spaced out would be bad, but it works good. As long as you have, a larger kind of space to work with. I might actually would want, if I was going to be stuck here forever or something, I would actually move them in closer, maybe farther away from the wall, and then, tow them like that, but, just there, kind of like right on the sides of the window. But like this would be great, the way they're positioned, because see how they're kind of shooting up? So like you stand here, which is where I originally had the chair, and you're standing, they sound good still. Kind of creates a room effect. Well, maybe not so much, because they don't go up that high. I was thinking maybe they're hitting the ceiling. Maybe they're coming up and hitting that. I don't think so. It's a real perfect angle for the mid-range and tweeter to kind of come at you like that. I think if you put them on the stands, it would be more harsh because the tweeter mid-range kind of just be blasting at you, then you'd be hearing more of the woofer that you don't need to hear. There's something about the three-way speaker with just a capacitor in the tweeter mid-range. I got these Sony speakers I got to do a review someday that I like. They're that way, and they've Kevlar drivers, and a science paper tweeter. But anyways, like, they both do the thing where the woofer is playing its thing, and it's like the way it's fading out, and these are mixing in. And like the way these do, they reproduce electric guitar. Like I was listening to Westworld. What's it called? Westworld. I don't remember. The only Westworld album I have, not the movie or the TV show, the music album. Oh yeah, it's Movers and Shakers. Westworld Movers and Shakers. Yeah, I was listening to that when I had these in my living room. Same way with the DAP. After I turned off Roseanne, which by the way, Roseanne on these was just such happy comfort food. They sounded so perfect. What was I saying though? Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. Was the Westworld album, like with one of the songs on there, it had the way the electric guitar was being reproduced. It sounded like a guitar speaker because it's kind of the same thing as a guitar speaker. It's like a 12-inch that's just playing what it can play, and you can hear that freaking guitar amplifier coming out of the woofer, and like it's just so choice, bro. For certain kind of things, like this is ultimate. I'm like a computer. I want a version of those Yamaha bookshelves I like, but I want to have a 12-inch Pipkin woofer and the port, and calculate the interior volume, and make it cheap enough where people can just have them. Like we're gonna make a new colony of humans on another planet. We'll just give you guys these. We'll make sure every human has a house and a room as big as this. You know, where you can listen to music. And the image. There's this one album called Fat Man Miami, something or other. It's on Seiko Mart Bandcamp. You guys gotta get that one because it demonstrates stereo imaging. I was listening to that, and it's just, you hear stuff come from over there, you hear stuff come from behind you there, behind you there. I could probably optimize a little better. Like I said, if I move them closer together, they probably image a little bit more intensely. Like the imaging is a little bit, I had a good word for it. They basically just need to be closer together, but like the other point I was alluding to, they work good for a room like this. Like say, I'd probably put a billiard table right here. The sun needs to change its lighting so you can see better. Yeah, put a billiard table here where it's going to the width, right? So you imagine the billiard table. You still have plenty of room to hit the billiard table, and like you get coverage. And obviously wouldn't have because the billiard table would be like the long side of it going here, like, so this could sit right in front of it, but it wouldn't normally be here. You like normally, boop, it'd be pushed up against there. And it'd be like your billiard room, get your billiard table. It sounds so tight, it gets good coverage. And when you're hitting the balls over here, it wouldn't be like too loud for the guy who's listening over here. And then when you want to like listen intimate, you just put the chair, after everyone's gone home, you had a few to drink, and you kick it back. You can maybe even move them in closer. Have like a rail system, locks it in, exact position. That'd be exotic. Or just have two pairs of them with a switcher. So would I buy these on eBay? The cabinets probably wouldn't survive. You can see it at a thrift shop. I'm talking like kind of, I don't know. Some people might want to have this for kind of nostalgia kind of music. Like Windows 96 is great, the way the bass kind of goes boom. I should have just did a video when I first listened, because the bass is just like, oh my god, they're worth buying just to get these drivers. Even if the cabinets came and they were like smashed, you could like redo them, you could like move these over, so they're like that. It's more high fidelity, and you could put your own crossover and tweak it. They're a good base model if you just wanted to get something cheap and mod it. The tweeter is kind of like, I like these, what are they called? Polycarbonate tweeters. And they'll look like that too, whether it's like triangular and it covers up the tip. I like the sound these make. It's kind of a nostalgic sound. It sounds great for like lo-fi and like, so what's the name of it? Vaporwave. Windows 96 is kind of like Vaporwave that's not crappy sounding. It's like a more high fidelity Vaporwave. The Windows 96 is great. Like bass goes and like certain. You can't just play. You can't like play rap and stuff though, like rap and trap music and like deep bass stuff. You don't want to do that because they'll start. You would listen to it, but you have to turn it down a lot more. But like when it's Windows 96 bass. Hold on, I'll play a Windows 96 song. Alright, this is Windows 96. How to See Through Walls. This is track 8. Now I'm playing track 13. Oops. There we go. Play some other tracks shortly. They got like good percussion, like the driver soundtrack, stuff like that with like drums and stuff. It sounds smooth. Like I was saying, they'd be worth perhaps buying on eBay and risking them not coming, because the drivers are certainly worth obtaining if you wanted to just, yeah, certainly the bass driver. It's got some goodness. And the way the bass is tuned, real good. Okay, this is track 6 off of a movie soundtrack from a movie called Dil Se, like it's D-E-L-S-E, I think. That's how it's spelled. Anyways, this is track 6, about 3 minutes into it. It's probably gonna get copyright. I'll be really upset if they won't let it upload. No, it's blocked everywhere. Super copyright. Because obviously, if you hear some copyrighted material in a video that's coming out of my DAP into the amp, that goes through the wires, it comes out these speakers, and then it goes to the mono microphone on this camera, and then it gets compressed and put on YouTube. Obviously, you're just gonna come along and you're gonna take that out, you put it in your music library instead of buying, you know, the material in its unruined form through going call to that. Because that's why they have to like completely like take away your monetization if you're into that, and like block the video in certain countries because, oh my god, you're playing our thing. Now people are just gonna have it. They have it for free. This chair is for free. This house is for free. The speakers are for free. Has the wires somewhere. Headphone wire I had, an amp I had, DAP I had. I had those. But the important stuff is free. The house, the speakers, the chair. I'm getting free music here. What was I saying though? It goes ding, ding, ding. It's very art. And it's not fatiguing. It's very articulate, not fatiguing. And like the way, like when I was watching Roseanne, the way, is his name Dan in that show? The guy from The Big Lebowski, he kind of looked like him in like the later season because they were shooting at the same time. Anyways, like his voice coming out of it, the way it's like coming full range out of the woofer, and the way it's all blending, it does vocals better than I expected too. Certainly, I'd buy another pair of them. Like I'd buy a cleaner pair and then just pick the best of these and have an LCR of them. I got nothing better to do. I'd try that. And the other thing too is, is the port doesn't chuff or anything. The port works really well. I thought because it's like a 12-inch, and the port is kind of small. But no, I haven't pushed them with like a bigger amp than that. I've only ever used the Dayton on these. So if you pushed it with a more powerful amp, it might chuff. But don't turn these speakers up that loud if you use them with a regular amp. They probably even sound better at lower volumes because they got more power. They'll have a little bit more thump in the bass notes probably. I'm surprised how much bass they got. Like when I stand up and I go over here where my head is in kind of this space, because it's kind of the proximity there and then the proximity there. It makes the bass just like it's got. What's it the kids say? It slaps. Yeah, that's what the kids would say. They say it slaps. It's kind of why I prefer them for like billiard room mode. It's because they have a little more bass that way too. Because they don't have to try as hard to make the bass, so you play them kind of decently loud when you have your billiards room. I just really want a billiards room. I just want to have guys over and knocking balls around. What? That's only like a sport men would invent, isn't it? Or just jealous women. I don't know. What was I saying? No, let's take a smoke break and look at the grills. Yeah, we're gonna find out why these are caved in like that in a minute. Loading screen coming. So here's what they look like. They're the kind of grill where, see how there's this kind of part here that's kind of raised, just because the peg goes in and then it stops, like, you know, where my finger is. So it has my finger's worth of like a gap. So dust can fall on the top here. It has kind of a premium look the way it's kind of goes like that. It gives a little bit more structural integrity too, which is probably what protected the driver so well. So that's why it's caved in, because they fell forwards, and this being like this, basically, the speaker hitting, you know, with the grill on, the speaker hitting the floor, it made the little holes cave in, which I might super glue those or something. You know, that's a nice little Kenwood logo down there. Let's do a loudness test and walk around and listen. This is Back When, Universe EP, track 3, Fireflies. These cactuses are evil. I had one on my finger when I was cleaning up the place to set up the speakers. It stabbed me really deep in my finger. It was hidden in some insulation. It's everywhere. Don't come here without like boots on, because even then, they're evil and they'll stab you when you least expect it. That used to be the closet, convenient exit. Speaker grills. Death cactus. It's like dead, man, but it's like little. See, it's got a bunch on it right there. They're evil. And look at this, like weaving like rope. It's very unusual. Alien. Oh, I just unplugged my cable. That's great. Of course, I'm just talking to give context to volume test mode. You compare the loudness. Me talking about how my phone's on a charger in my hand while it's plugged in because it'll die otherwise. Another closet. This wouldn't be a bad room to do a review in. This little window, put the speakers the same kind of way. I could review them in a smaller room. I just don't want to clean this one up. Get a shovel and just throw it all out the window. What's that say? Well, I failed to do it before the song was over, so I was playing the next song on the album. Let's just go look around at juvenile, bigot shoot people, vandalism, though. I said I was going to talk about those people, but they don't deserve to be talked about. Alright, I'll talk about them. Okay, so there's this one user on Bigot Shoot. I guess this is still a volume test, because I'm talking about something while I'm kind of closer. Okay. So there was this one guy on a Bigot Shoot account. And he said something to the effect of, oh my god, all these gay people and transgender people and non-white people, they're just ruining my life by their very existence. And it's like really sad. It's like, oh god, because like gay people exist, it's just ruining the country, it's ruining my life. Like, how? Like gay people that, like regular car reviews that just make dirty worded car review videos, but they don't like, you know, bother. You don't have to watch their videos. That's like the worst thing they do is they make videos with unnecessary nasty stuff thrown in them. There's a bunch of crap over here. It's like a bad neighborhood. This is the Bigot Shoot house. This is what it's like when you go to Bigot Shoot. It's all torn up. Nothing works. There's like crazy people who are like racist beyond. And they're just like proud of it. Yeah, we're fucking retarded. And we just want to like have pure division when there's like bigger fish to fry than like our petty little problems with people. It was just like. And they play this bass nectar. They play, well, not bass nectar. These probably couldn't handle bass nectar. These handle most of the BACKWHEN albums pretty good. It's just Lights Have Eyes you can't play on these at an enjoyable volume level. But I was listening to Universe EP and Sensations and what was the other one called? True Escapes. Yeah, I was listening to those three. And like 99% of the time, probably 100% of the time, the bass was fine. You just gotta turn it up where it starts to distort, and then now you back off, and then it's like in the sweet spot where it performs. It performs like BACKWHEN bass really better than I expected. It's pretty awesome. Let's talk about other subjects, just because, like, why not? It's my channel and do what I want. You're really gonna go buy some old crusty speakers? I just like this house. It's a great analogy for the places on the internet I hang out. So let's talk about these people some more. Okay, so if you go to my subscriptions tab on YouTube, there's an old guy on there who talks about stuff. Figure out which one it is. And he has this video where he talks about how he was a massage therapist, and he worked on all kinds of people his whole, like for 20 years. That's what he did. And he said, like, you know, all the muscles and all this, it's all just the same damn people. There's no such thing as different races. We're all the same race. It's just different variations of it. We're all like compatible with one another to have baby, you know. The opposite sex person, generally, they can, you know, have a baby with someone from anywhere in the world. Unless you're from Antarctica and you're a reptilian or something. Even then, you have to take a holographic human form. These people are just like not smart. It's like, and they just cherry pick shit. Oh, all these people are all bad. Anything that's just like, all these people are bad. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, oh look, it's Pizza Steve. It's Pizza Steve from Uncle Grandpa. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? Here's a. I'm just letting my brain matter kind of flow today. So there's certain, I don't know what the politically correct word is. I'm not like trying to be politically correct myself. Like Mexican-owned restaurants, you know, Hispanic people-owned restaurants. A lot of times I go to these places and they just like disrespect me. Like one time I went to this one and I ordered my food. And then 40 minutes goes by, I'm like, hello. And she's like, it's there on the counter. I'm like, number one, I didn't ask for it to go. Number two, even if I did, why wouldn't you tell me, hey, your order's ready? Are you trying to tell me, like, I'm not welcome here because I'm white? So the point I'm getting to is, maybe we should just make it a society where society is, you're allowed to be racist. You're allowed to be, like, literally just whites not recommended here, not welcomed here, or whatever you want. Like, if you don't fucking like white people, just be straight up about it at least. Be like, yeah, I'm just gonna give you pissy service and just whatever, dude. Passive aggressive. Legalize low-level racism. If you're like your political view is to change people's heart of hearts, like, what are you doing? And people are going to be murderers. You just got to stop them, I guess, when they choose to do that. But lately, there's been a lot of murderers who are just not getting caught. I I've said enough already. Let's go talk about the speaker some more. I just want to have peace and love of everybody, you know? Like, when I first got into hi-fi like this, it's an excitement that has never, never stopped flowing, I guess. I think a more eloquent word, but you know what I mean. And throughout my life, I just wish that everybody could have the chance to experience high fidelity, beautiful music in their own home. And it's so cheap. Like, go back to that review of those Deco home speakers with this amp and your phone. Like, literally, they're not available anymore currently, but hopefully they'll come back. But you're talking literally like less than $100 worth of stuff. And you're actually hearing real music. I see people walking around with their rectangle phones and they're playing like music. I saw a guy had a Rick and Morty Morty. Yeah, this guy is walking around with his rectangle phone in the grocery store with his rectangle phone in the basket area, just like playing music out of the phone speaker. And it's like, why are you just being annoying to like everyone around you? It's not even music. You've probably never even heard music in your life, and that makes me sad. To quote Clint Eastwood, like, why would I give a fuck what other people do with their lives? And that goes two ways, I guess. As long as you're not like having gay sex in public. Like this one time I went in the before 4 times in 2019, I went to like the gay pride parade thingy in Los Angeles just for something to do. And there's like gay people having sex in view just in the bushes, you know, towards the end. Just the one, though. There's probably more public sex than that, but that was the only one I saw. God, we're just like bridging topics today. Went back and forth. So yeah, just like, you know, wear headphones. Both like with music when you're in public and like with your, you know, your biz or whatever. Just keep it on headphone mode, bro. And like, you know, when you're like in a restaurant, nobody wants to hear the video you're watching. And nobody wants to hear it come out of your phone speaker. So why do people do it? It's like rude. If it was in the 1980s, you had like a little portable TV and you had it cranked all loud. They tell you to get the F out. Turn it off or get out. Stop being rude. Like, why are you being so rude? Like, bro, you can get headphones for 99 cents. Just get headphones for 99 cents and then plug them into your phone. And, yeah. Oh, but they don't have the headphone port, right? So you gotta get, like, wireless earbuds that destroy your brain cells because you're beaming electron beam or whatever through the center of your head to go to the other headphone. Like, it's like, there's no long-term safety data on that. It's probably going to give you brain cancer or something, like, versus not taking the risk of any of that and just having a wire that goes to your phone. Oh, but I just want the flashiest new trendy rectangle phone that requires you to have Bluetooth headphones. And the thing about this phone I'm holding is when you have the headphones plugged in and you turn up all the way, so you're using like an auxiliary cable, you turn up all the way and you're using the volume control, say there, like on that. If I was using this for that, that's how you would do it. You turn the volume on the phone, maximum, and then adjust the volume with your stereo unit. But with this phone, it Android, whatever, when you have the wired headphones, it has nanny mode where it turns it down and you have to press OK. But if you're using a Bluetooth volume with a Bluetooth device, it never enters nanny mode ever. So it's just like bullying you into having Bluetooth anyways. I'm not a fan of Bluetooth as a concept, even though I use it for certain things. But I'm not like planning on having like a child, so I don't care if my biology gets fried. But for people who are considering that or who have children, you should probably stop giving these rectangle phones to your kids. Just get all this wireless crap out of your life. I had an orange cat that he was all screwed up and we got rid of the Wi-Fi. And then he seemed better after that. Did the Wi-Fi give my orange cat cancer? It might have contributed to it. He's always acting like he's getting fried. Poor cat. Oh, I have to have this wireless crap so it can be convenient. I haven't even had like a new console. Like, I don't care anyways. And you're going to make me have to have a wireless controller just to play a video game. Or I'd rather just have a wire, have it not be wireless cooking me, and not have to worry about the battery design because it's just freaking plugged in. Just make a video game console where the games are finished, the game is fully finished, doesn't require firmware updates, and you can stick the game in, plug the controller in, and play the game. I have a really cool surround system at home that I'm going to do a video on, and it's like a shame because I played Doom 3 on that, it's hella good. I should like lease it out to people who play video games. So here you go, bro. This hourly wage, they'll be like, oh my god, this I can't go back. It's like immersiveness, pure immersiveness, 5.1 listening experience. Oh, I just like these speakers. They're humble. Like, I love this paper cone mid-range and the polycarbonate tweeter. This, like I said, this woofer. It's great. And I swear I don't know how they don't rattle more. Because I'm not turning up super loud, I guess. And these are like plus size Legos, by the way. They tilt them just perfect. I like them tilted like this. Maybe I'll try them on the stands. I think maybe I could right now take the stands and take these outside. See, there's a concrete thing over there. I could put them on that where they're facing that way, sit in the chair. Well, I have like vampirism. I can't really be in the sun. So I might try putting them on the stand someday. Why not? It's not right now, though. I should, like, put them on the stands. I guess I could. We'll put them on the stands and put them, like, right here. and then I'll do some listening and talk about it more. Okay, this is that Fat Man album. It's a Fat Man Miami Paradise Lost, the album I was talking about. And this is track 2. Got the speakers up with the stands, towed in like I said. And then immediately they image better. Immediately there's more flavor coming out of the polycarbonate tweeter. And you'd think having a different material tweeter, but no, it blends together smooth. It's got a lot of clarity, but it's got warmth and comfort. It's not fatiguing. I suspect it might be a little bit more fatiguing with it straight. It's like, you know, firing straight at you now. The tweeter is right about at ear level. They might sound better if you raise them up where, if I raise them up where this, like, right there was ear level, they might sound even better. Some speakers, when you do that, it does something to the way the image, where like the imaging is like happening, it's like it swirls around you, it's more immersive. And it kind of makes, sometimes it kind of makes it where like the tweeter and the mid-range blend into the what's coming out of the woofer. It makes it all blend like more choice, bro. Like, I don't have anything to make them go with besides slouching, I guess. Let's slouch a little and listen some more. Same album, track 3. Sounds dope. I still think the other way would be better if you were doing a billiard room. But it's just a general purpose room, like a 2.0 system with a TV. This might be better. It might make an image better with the TV and everything. It's definitely a bit brighter. It's more direct, obviously. It's coming right at me now. And the bass, though. I'll just pause that for a second. Ah, it didn't work. I do believe that is a foam surround. Yeah, it's a foam surround, and it hasn't rotted or anything. It's amazing, man. Just out on the street corner. Foam's not rotted. They're not caved. Drivers aren't caved in. Cabinets. That's probably like the worst part, where it's caved. But I don't think it's even leaking air. And if it is, it's so little that it doesn't even... Maybe that's what's making the port... Maybe if I sealed that, the port would all like suck. I'm like, no, I should have left it because it's broken just perfectly. I didn't know until I fixed it. You have something that's broken perfectly, and then you fix it, and that's always something to be afraid of. If you want to be afraid of something. Like you had wisdom teeth, and they were like stabbing into your brain, driving you mad. But then once you had your wisdom teeth taken out, you didn't have any drive in life. You had like you were all screwed up though. And then you had to join the army. And you had to be abused by shouty men and get tough, because that was the only thing that could satisfy the hole that had been seared into your brain from the wisdom tooth. I hope that's not a dude out there. Imagine if there was like a dude who watched this and was like, how did you know? How did you know? I swear that all these polycarbonate, they all have this exact same bezel and everything. I'm not sure if they're actually made by different people. They sound, I'd like to get the switcher and compare them with the Yamahas. I was thinking I could get the Yamahas as surrounds with these. And, you know that, I probably should, I guess I'll put in a picture of it right here. Yeah, make a surround system with that center channel, and these is the left and right, and then the Yamahas as the surround channels. Have it all crossed over 80 hertz. Because that center channel, it's a coaxial, and it has the same polycarbonate tweeter inside of it, and then the 3 drivers and the outer drivers don't have it. That's a weird speaker. It does sound kind of muddy though. I had it up on the top of my TV for a while, like whenever that was, before I had the triple 570s in my home theater. And it's a little bit muddy, but it's better than the center channel that goes with the Studio 5 series. Don't buy that thing. Buy the weird triple driver center channel instead. It physically will sound muddier, but it has less problems than I'm just like rambling at this point. I'm thinking that could be a fun like retro home theater to have for a while. That's why I'm like, I was gonna get rid of these, but I'm like, I gotta keep them though, because I could combine them with my Yamahas. Oh, come to think of it, I have a third one of those Yamaha bookshelves that's like a little bit water damaged. I'll just drop that sucker in as the center channel. I don't think this, like the woofer on it looks like it's been wet and then dried. But I listened to them briefly. I don't think they would sound bad, and then I don't have to worry about blowing it potentially. I'm like, well, it was already kind of slightly, because there's a third one I bought. It was just a random. I bought it because like, ooh, it's a third one. I can take it apart, reverse engineer it, so I can work on that one. If I'm gonna do mods to my Yamahas, I have one I can just work with. I don't care if I mess it up. That's the kind of stuff you do when you're into this hobby. You're like, ooh, I should buy more of those for spare parts, and so I could reverse engineer them, and blah, 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 and before you know it, all kinds of tower speakers, and a lot of times you have more than a pair of them. You have like 4 of them, you have like 5 of them, you have like 7 of them, and then it's like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? And I do like their form factor. Let's see if I can get a side shot. And that's a human hand for comparison. They're kind of like slim, like this way. I'd be interested if I could buy these back in the day, if I was like back in time, buy like 7 of them if they're sold individually, and then have ones as surround channels that are just straight up like, take it, and then you just attach it to the wall with like 90-degree brackets like that, and you know, like that below it and all around it, so it's just attached to the wall. Put a little sound deadening behind all that, and then have it on there firm. What that would sound like. Have it kind of like, have it like where we said, like where that's ear level, and maybe you could have it tilted down a little bit, but just tilt it down just a little bit, not too much, where the tweeter's kind of like shooting over your head. And then the same thing for the surround back channels. I used to have a 7.1 system. It wasn't a true 7.1. It could do 6.1, true 6.1, but it couldn't do true 7.1. It was really choice too. I don't live there anymore though, and I had to live there for a year. I should like knock down the walls of my theater room and my like Bose 901 room, make just one big room with a heater shaft going in the center of the room, so it's like a bigger room, so I can have bigger surround sound. Because you can't beat surround sound in a bigger room. It's just always better. Unless it just really ruins the acoustics. But generally, if the acoustics are decent, just a bigger room is always better. For stereo listening 2.0, you just gotta, like, yeah, if you have a smaller room, you gotta, like, talk to people and decide what's best for, like, a smaller room. Could you use these for a smaller room? I don't know. They might be a little bit annoying to people in an apartment, because let's talk, oh, I never talked about that. Let's talk about the cheap speaker tech. And they're a very genius example. Like, they're not very tough at all. You'd think that would rattle, but they're built well, just well enough where they don't rattle 99% of the time if you use them properly. But like cheap enough to where you can sell them to people affordably. But you see, the thing that this cheap speaker tech is also doing is it's kind of like having both a port and a passive radiator, because the whole cabinet kind of just flexes out, like, but it does it in a controlled enough way where it's technically muddiness, but it adds bass. It's the very best example of this technology. I've had a lot of speakers that are built this way, and these, very choice the way they do it. I'm surprised how good they are at doing it, as long as you don't play rap music and you're sensible. I particularly like them, and they work great on these stands now. I should have just put them on the stands. I should have put them on the stands originally. But I liked the way they were on the Legos, and they were tilted up. They had kind of a classy look to them. I kind of liked it. This is Richard Souther, Intermission, track 3. I was trying to play some other album, but I ended up playing this. But this is a great example of its like percussion, smoothness, and precision, and warmth. You just want to wrap yourself up in it and feel warm and cozy, like you're in a bathtub made of love, bubble bath made of love. It's just a great album, and these are great speakers for this album. I will say though that, hold on, turn that off for copyright reasons. One thing you might consider if you have these is get some stands like this that are like made of wood, because these are plastic obviously. Get some stands similar to this that are made of wood. Then get some like door hinges. Screw them here, and then screw them there, and then screw them underneath here, so the speaker can like pivot like this, and then just use that to have basically height, increase ride height, and tilt up. So I was considering sticking the Legos in there, trying to have ride height plus tilt up, which would probably tame, because it's a little sharp. It's a little bit sharper, and some listeners might not like it. It might even be better for billiard room mode if you did that with the lift and a little bit of tilt back. You have the Legos right here, but it'd probably make it too unstable. I don't want the speaker to fall off of there and shatter apart, because I particularly like them. Alright, let's play an ending song, because I've talked long enough about these crusty old speakers. So this is the electronic tribute to Pink Floyd, various artists album. This is track 9, Learning to Fly, like the last minute or so. Peace and love, y'all. Protect Positive Squad at all costs.